So make sure you guys follow her, give her a shout out. She'll be on here talking about herself, talking about her resume, talking about her college life. I'll have as many questions as I can to try to make it interesting. So she's going to be my first guest on the night. Then the next guest, which is pretty cool, and I kind of have something similar to try to help everybody in here that doesn't necessarily know, what esports tickets is. Esports tickets is actually pretty interesting and pretty cool. So we all know there's esports events. They usually happen, once a month, twice a month, which is pretty cool. That's always something that we see throughout the year, especially now. I feel like it's been picking up more and more. And esports tickets is kind of your StubHub, similar. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's your StubHub for gaming. That's what I say. So I'll have Arwina on here to kind of break that down a little bit for you guys and kind of get more questions from myself. That's something that I'm going to be asking because I don't necessarily know too much about my guests, which I like. I like it that way. I don't like to know too much about them, just so it makes for more interesting topics and more, more go on the flow and kind of anything comes out. I don't really filter too much my questions. I like to hear the truth. I like to hear, what they have to say about themselves and about, their business, their organization, what they do for a living and so forth. Like I said, I try to entertain as much as I can. And that will be the wrap up for the night. Obviously, I'll bring up any other topics or if there's any questions in the chat board that you guys have for me. Always feel free to message me as well. You guys can catch me on Twitter at NJCubano. Make sure you guys follow me on there. Make sure you guys follow the stream on here. As always, like I said, I always do my shows live from this, twitch.tv/NJCubano. My personal account, as always, I'm not going to go anywhere. Like I said, I usually do my shows every Thursday. So without further ado, I'm going to start breaking down the 2K that just happened. So for everybody that doesn't know, there was a Gears of War fight night that just happened tonight. They usually start around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and they run till about 9 o'clock. And they'll usually have about 2 or 3 preliminary matches that come up before the main event. Now, the main event is always the North American 2K Finals. Now, tonight we actually had Ghost Gaming against Optic Gaming. Now, Optic Gaming, like I said, won Dallas. They just won the first major event that just happened. And, Ghost Gaming put up a decent fight. I wouldn't necessarily say the best fight, but they did play tonight. So to pull up the map here for you guys to break it down for everybody. This was the 2K tournaments bracket. So at the top half, you have Optic Gaming. Optic Gaming, like I said, won about 5 major events last season, and they've already started off right. They won the first event in Dallas. So obviously they played Team Vanquish. Team Vanquish, a younger team, actually just made a roster change. They got rid of Razil. For everybody that doesn't know, they did drop Razil, and they did pick up DeFazio. Now, I think that's a great move. I love Razil. Razil's a really good player. He has that raw skill, but I just don't think he has, what it takes overall to bring that team up to what they need to be. They did finish, I think, 9-12 at Dallas, which wasn't necessarily the placing that they expected. I know they've always expected higher, and that's tough. That's tough for a team. That's usually not what you want. 9-12 is good. You make money, but them being a pro team, them constantly placing top 8 in the 2Ks. Vanquish, I guess, felt the need to make a move. So like I said, they dropped Razil and they picked up DeFazio. Awesome play. They actually had to play Optic Gaming. You guys see on the board, they lost 2-0. Probably what most people expected. Then we move on to the next half. We have Pure Gaming versus E United. Now, for everybody that doesn't know, Pure Gaming is actually the former Fire and Ice roster. That's, well, now Zerpting, actually. They now have Zerpting, for everybody that doesn't know. They did drop Zenon for Zerpting. E United, I guess, let go of Zerpting. Pure Gaming picked up Zerpting. So it's the original roster: Strafey, Avexis, Detox, and Demo Bounce. They took on E United. Now, E United is the new roster as well. That's something a lot of people don't know currently, is still Lava. Lava stayed on the team. I guess they felt he was the best captain to have on the squad, which is great. I think Lava's a really good player. I think he's a really good leader. I don't really think he has many flaws to him. I'm not too sure how his communication is, but as an overall player, Lava is definitely the guy that you want leading you coming into the game. And they actually consumed the Allegiance roster minus KO. Now, KO Franco is actually starting a team with Keem, God Plays, and 2 others. And now it's Jerpy, Rezik, Shock, and Crash. They joined forces with Lava, and they put together the E United Reborn. That was actually what they called themselves on the Game Battles 2K that just came up. They called themselves E United Reborn. Now, I definitely like the roster. Obviously, minus KO, you put in Lava. I love the roster. These guys are bad players. They are notorious. They're out there for blood, and I love this team. I love this new E United. They're definitely hungry. They take it to a whole nother level. It's something that we don't see right now. They are definitely the upset team, I think, of the season currently, which is awesome. You know, we need teams like that. We need to make some excitement inside of the Gears of War world. We don't want to constantly see the same teams winning, because how much fun is that? You know, if the Yankees were constantly winning the World Series all the time and making it to the playoffs, you know, I would love it. But that's because I'm a Yankees fan. And I didn't do that on purpose because you guys can see my Yankee hat back there. But yeah, that would be boring. You know, you like to see things spice up. You like to see things get a little crazy. That's something that we all enjoy as, you know, competitors ourselves or just for entertainment. So I definitely like this E United roster. They take out Pure Gaming, like I said, the former Fire and Ice roster, 2-1. They move on. Then we have Ghost Gaming. They played Speed Runner. Now, Speed Runners are actually the former not Blackout, 88 Chamber Squad. Correction, sorry about that. So they're a newer team. You know, they are hungry. They have some time, you know, to kind of pick it up. I don't have much to say about them just because that roster is kind of in a weird funk right now. I'm not too sure how well or how bad they'll be doing. They did lose 2-0 to Ghost Gaming. Like I said, that's another expected matchup for Ghost to take out. So they moved on 2-0. Then you have Eternity's new team, which is kind of mixed match. I can't really tell you guys too much about them. Again, I feel like the Speedrunners Eternity's team definitely have some time to mature and definitely have some time to make some roster changes and kind of feel their teams out. Eternity, as always, is usually a leader. He's usually a front spawn guy. So obviously you won't see him go anywhere. But they lose 2-0 against Echo Fox. Echo Fox, we all know who Echo Fox is. They're the second powerhouse in the game for what I consider is, you know, franchise, Kyle, Praised, Toy Soldier, and Solars. That team is one of the elite. You know, they are probably the second best squad right now, if not third best squad, arguably behind Ghost Gaming. I personally think it goes Optic Gaming, Echo Fox, Ghost Gaming, and now with all this roster changes and whatnot, maybe we see an E United sitting at 4th seed, or just 4th in general from what I see, unless we have an upset coming up during, you know, the events and so forth. So in the semifinals, we had Optic Gaming against E United. Really interesting matchup. That E United roster minus Lava actually beat Optic Gaming in pool play at MLG Dallas, which was, you know, not what everybody expected. But again, that roster is that team that's going to come out each and every event and play to their fullest extent. Sorry about that, guys. No water today. I forgot. But they lose 2-1. United loses to Optic Gaming 2-1. Again, probably something we expected as a whole and as a community. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes. Optic Gaming right now is looking like the top of the top. And they're on their P's and Q's. You know, Icy's back. No more suspensions. No more BS. These guys are, you know, sitting down, going over as a team, analyzing maps, talking to each other. And that's really what it takes to be, you know, successful. And that's what anything. Doesn't mean gaming. That means everything in general. Your job, your personal life, school, you know, practice, read, analyze, break things down, you know, analyze what you're doing wrong. What can I personally fix as an individual? And what can we fix as a team? Because you're only just as good as your weakest link on each team. That's what I've always thought. So if your weakest link is on point and this guy is, you know, has his stuff down, you're going to do great. You obviously are going to do great. And I feel like that's where Optic Gaming is right now. The only way I see them falling off is if they have a meltdown on land, which, you know, we probably all would have thought, you know, would have happened when they lost to Allegiance this past event. But they lost to Allegiance and then they win the whole event. So you can't break these guys mentally. I love it. The mental focus and the drive there as a whole is just something unbreakable currently. And Optic Gaming moves on to grand finals for you guys on the screen. So next matchup, which they've been seeing each other a lot, and I think that we're going to be seeing them a lot on land playing against each other. It's Ghost Gaming against Echo Fox. Now, Ghost Gaming against Echo Fox is always an interesting matchup. Ghost Gaming, you know, led by, I don't even know, Sleepy Time or J-Ribs. I can't really pinpoint who their leader is. Against Echo Fox, Franchise. Franchise is one of the best. He's been doing it longer than pretty much anybody right now, competing at, you know, the pro level that he does. Ghost Gaming actually comes out and beats him 2-1. Probably the prediction that most people thought. I mean, I don't know. I'm really big on Echo Fox. I'm also big on Ghost Gaming, but I definitely thought Echo Fox would have taken this 2-1 or even 2-0. So Ghost Gaming moves on, and they play Optic Gaming in tonight's finals. Now, tonight's finals are usually on the Gears of War Fight Night show. Now, that just happened recently, so we're going to get rid of this, and we're going to bring over tonight's bracket. So obviously I have the updated scores for you guys already. So it's not as fun, but I'll still talk about it. Optic Gaming tonight versus Ghost Gaming. First map was Dam, 7-2 Optic Gaming. Second map Foundation, 7-4 Optic Gaming. Clean sweep. Obviously there's not much to talk about. I couldn't really catch too much of the game. But Optic Gaming obviously has Ghost Gaming's number right now. You saw Sleepy Time tweet out on Twitter right after they lost. Unfortunate loss, back to the lab. That's great. Obviously, that's something that you have to do as a leader and as a teammate. You count your losses and you come back and you try to beat them stronger. But you have 7-2, 7-4. Not necessarily the most confident win. The most confident loss. If we would have seen like a 7-5, 7-5, 7-4, 7-4, 7-6, 7-6, something along those lines, we could say, oh wow, Ghost Gaming definitely improved. But 7-2 is pretty brutal, especially when you're a pro team. I need to see a little bit more from Ghost Gaming. I'm not too sure they're ready to compete with Optic Gaming. Not to say that they're a bad team, but Optic Gaming, like I said, is one of the elite currently, and I don't necessarily think Ghost Gaming is at that level. And will they be at that level this season? They might be. Obviously we can't judge them. It's only been one event so far, and actually the next event that's coming up is in January. For everybody that doesn't know, there's actually going to be an event in Mexico City, which is pretty cool. Mexico City gets crazy. The crowd is wild there. Mexico City does really, really well with sales, does really well with the crowd. The local people come out to the events, and they have a really, really good time. So I'm actually going to be trying to make it out there to Mexico City. Obviously that's something I would love to do. I would love to see the crowd, and I'm fluent, so I think it'd be interesting. I think it'd be fun. I'd be out there haciendo el party, todo eso. So that'd be wild. I would obviously love to cast or anything like that, or even just show up, coach a team, which is possibly going to happen. That's actually in the works. Not 100% sure if it's going to happen necessarily, but that's definitely something I want to do come January, end of January. I think it's like the third weekend or fourth weekend of January. Actually, they're going to be in Mexico City, so I look forward to that. But that's it. That's it for this weekend's 2K that just happened. Like I said, guys, tonight was Fight Night, and that was it. So that's always my Gears of War segment, and I try not to bore you guys as much as possible. I know I cater mainly to the Gears of War community, but I also like to include a lot more, just because it makes for interesting conversations, and also makes for interesting topics and ideas, and it helps, more companies, more organizations, more individuals grow. Now, they're not necessarily in esports, or they're not necessarily connected to Gears of War, but they have some kind of relation to esports or even the casino life, which, like I said, our first guest tonight is going to be Gina. Now, Gina does a lot of work with the casino world, especially skill-based gaming, game designs, esports and arenas, the future of casino marketing offers, promotions and loyalty programs, and gamifying the gambling experience. Now, this all sounds like nothing, but when you really think about it, this is probably going to be something that comes up, more and more when esports is spoken about. Now, Gina is a recent graduate with a master's in hospitality management, which I thought was pretty cool, with a concentration in casino and gaming operations from Drexel University. Pretty legit school. Kind of interesting. She was a recipient of the Association of Gaming Equipment Manufacturers Scholarship. We all know schools are getting more expensive, so the fact that she got a gaming equipment manufacturer scholarship, pretty legit. So she's also completed master's certificates in hospitality marketing and revenue management for Cornell University. She's making me look bad here. This is not cool. Gina's an advocate for women in the gaming industry, which I absolutely agree with. That's why I love having women on here, especially in the gaming world and just in general. I feel like we don't show women enough love, especially in this industry. That's kind of what I try to preach and try to talk about a lot. on my shows, we have to embrace that. There is a big community of women in general that are interested in esports, and especially like what Gina does. She works in the casino world. She has dedicated a lot of time and research surrounding the millennial influence in the future of gaming, which again, something big that we don't see that we don't speak too much about. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot my water, like I said. Though she is still young in her career, she is on the road to a well-rounded foundation of a future as bright as all the neon lights on the Las Vegas Strip. Woo! Vegas. She does this in Vegas. How sweet is that? I wish I could do that. That sounds pretty cool and pretty interesting. So, without further ado, guys, I'm going to get Gina on here. Like I said, we always like to give a warm welcome to each guest that comes on the show. And if you guys have any questions, make sure you put it in the chat. But without further ado, let me go ahead and call Gina. It's loud. Hello?
Hi.
Hello. How's it going, Gina?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's everything?
Hold on. Let me get. Hold on.
Very cool. How's it going?
Good. Can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, good evening from the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.
I know, I'm jealous. I was reading the introduction and everything. I'm like, Las Vegas, Nevada must be pretty cool. Different world out there, obviously.
It really is. It really is. It's like nowhere else.
Quite interesting. And I'm saying that, and I'm from this. I work like 10 minutes from New York City, but I know Las Vegas is definitely its own world, world, and altogether. Obviously, a lot of lights, like you said.
Yeah.
So, guys, this is Gina. Like I said, I gave a little bit of an introduction for her, but I always like my guests to talk a little bit about themselves. So, Gina, less of me talking, more about you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of why you're here tonight.
So, I'm currently a casino marketing analyst for Boyd Gaming, which is a casino company primarily out west, and we have a few properties out in the Midwest, so scattered across the country. And what I do kind of on my day-to-day is I build a lot of offers and promotions for our properties and kind of evaluate guest play and see what they qualify for without reinvesting too much if you're playing $100, I'm not going to give you $200 worth of stuff. So I do a lot with offers and promotions in that aspect. Like you said, I'm a recent graduate with my master's from Drexel and got the whole school thing down pretty well. So, it's kind of me in a nutshell. I'm originally from the Philadelphia area, and I've been out in Vegas for about 2 years now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
First thing, do you miss Philly?
I miss certain things about Philly. I don't miss that it's currently 20 degrees in Philly. It's 50 degrees, and that's cold for here. So
I was going to say, we have quite the cold weather right now, so I'm not too sure if you'd miss that.
Yeah, there's certain things I miss about Philly, but Vegas has definitely welcomed me with open arms and like to call it home.
Definitely. Okay, yeah. So first question of the night. The gamifying and gambling experience. What do you see going on with that?
So it's become kind of, so every year at G2E, Global Gaming Expo, there's kind of the buzzword. So a few years ago, it was the integrated casino resort, taking the focus off of the gaming floor and implementing it into non-gaming amenities like restaurants, shows, nightlife, things like that. Last year, it was all about the millennials. Yeah. They were talking about us like we were some sort of aliens from outer space. We're just a consumer group that spends a little differently. So trying to really get into that niche was the big buzz. And this year it was all about esports and gamifying the gaming experience. And what that really means is so right now, you walk into a casino, you sit at a slot machine, you pull the lever, you press a button, that's it. That's the traditional slot experience. So with millennials surpassing baby boomers, of course, millennials get bored easily. We grew up on TV shows and video games, and just pressing a button and pulling a lever is not enough for us to want to go to these casinos and spend our money on these things. So gamifying the gambling experience is how can we make it more of an experience versus just gambling. So there's gaming and there's gambling. Gambling is more of the serious, I'm going to spend money to make money. So like a lot of our poker players, anyone that kind of makes a living off of gambling. And then you have gaming, which is more of a recreational, like I'm just going to go down to the casino, throw in $20, grab some dinner, have some drinks with my friends. So, and it's shifting from the gambling to the gaming. So in order to have more of a well-rounded experience, you're going to, a lot of like Gamblit and just a bunch of other companies are trying to find ways to make gambling more interactive. So you'll see a lot of the slot machines. You sit at the chair, like your video gaming chair. It
pretty much
vibrates, makes noise.
It really does. This one does. It's wild.
Yeah. So they're trying to make the slot chairs a lot like that, and kind of instead of just spinning the wheel and watching the little wheels turn, they're making other little side games within the game and trying to make it more fun and more interactive. So, and it's not just the gaming aspect that they're trying to gamify. Gamifying is actually a term used in a lot of different industries, whether it's HR or if you're waiting in line. Like nobody likes to wait in line.
No.
So what they're doing is like I think it's Disney has some sort of like game that you can play in line to kind of pass that time.
You know, I know what you're talking about. I actually went to Disney in October, and yeah, I played it. Yeah.
So to get your mind off of things, to make when you're checking in, there's a hotel here on the Strip that there's a little Wheel of Fortune wheel that you can spin, and it spins the wheel, and you win an offer that doesn't really cost the hotel anything, but it kind of makes your day, and it kind of sets up your experience for something more pleasurable.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's interesting. Yeah. Everybody loves to win. So if you can win before you're waiting to get online for something or before you get into casino, I can definitely see how that's, you know, something that interesting and something that people like. Because again, like you said, most people like to win. So I think that's pretty cool. Now, yeah. I know you mentioned, you know, gaming coming into the casino world. So you said something about skill-based gaming.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So right now it's a lot of trial and error. I know Atlantic City, some of the Caesars properties there had implemented skill-based machines, and they actually ended up taking them out.
Okay.
Here in Las Vegas, we have, I think Planet Hollywood is the only one currently with formal skill-based gaming. And I don't know exactly how well they're doing, but skill-based gaming, it's going to take time for it to catch on. It's a lot about educating your customer. So people that have been gambling for 100 years, they know what machines they like. They know which games are the lucky games. They know they're very set in their ways. So kind of breaking that mold is it's a little rough. But with the younger generation, it's definitely more appealing. So... But again, it's about educating the customer. If I walk into a casino and I see a game, doesn't look like a slot machine, doesn't look like a table game, I don't know really what it is. So I think gaming manufacturers are going to have to get really creative in the way that they're marketing and designing these games. So for example, like we all grew up with Monopoly. We all grew up with Clue and a bunch of those board games. So when you go into a casino, I actually sat at the Borgata for 2 hours back when I lived on the East Coast and watched a bay of slots. So you had the Buffalo slot machines, you had Double Diamonds, which are very classic slot machines, and then you had Wheel of Fortune, Monopoly, and I think it was like Seinfeld or TV show themed slot machine. Double Diamonds and Buffalo, even though they're popular machines, they didn't get as much attention as the newer, flashier, more modern games.
Okay.
So I think it's a lot of branding. So, skill-based games, like it has to be something relatable to maybe our childhood, like Pac-Man or other games that we grew up playing that are familiar to us that we already kind of know how to play, but can start playing real money for.
That which would be sick.
Yeah.
I know I'll be playing that.
Yeah. And I didn't grow up with video games. I don't know too much about video games. And honestly, as the gaming industry grows and it's kind of joining forces with video game world, I've been doing a lot more research. I know a lot more than I ever did. And it's a lot of parallels, it can work. I think it can work. It's going to take time. A lot of it has to also do with legislation.
Yes.
Casinos are highly regulated. So you can't just put in any game into a casino and it be okay. So it has to go through hoops and leaps in order for it to actually pass. So a lot of it has to do with lawmakers being a little older. They didn't grow up with video games. So as you see Capitol Hill kind of getting younger, you'll see potentially some changes in those laws because someone younger can kind of relate more to the video gaming world, and they grew up with these things. So they can kind of draw those parallels and are more for those kinds of games.
Absolutely, which I agree. That's going to be something that takes some time. Like you said, these are a lot of the older people that don't necessarily know too much about gaming, about esports, about including that in the casino life, which is understandable. Obviously, everybody's used to the same old blackjack, poker, slots. Like you said, they all know, oh, this machine works best, that works best. One thing that I could say is we actually had a tournament in Atlantic City this past, I think it was in July, actually. I competed there with Bob Ambrose's son, Rob, which I don't know if you necessarily know him, but
shout out to Immortal Dad.
Immortal Dad.
AKA Immortal Professor.
Which he was there. He was actually there. Yeah, he actually came to see us, which is pretty awesome. And they actually had a skill-based esports game there. And I only think there was like one or two setups. And you could see all the gamers. Actually, one of my former teammates, I was hanging out with him. His name's Kevin. And he was playing that game, but he was like constantly winning because obviously he's a gamer. But you just didn't see too much attention to it, and it was kind of off to the side. And like you said, it wasn't that flashy or, didn't have like a big name. It was kind of like a Halo type of game, but obviously the graphics weren't as good. It was kind of, dumbed down a little bit. But I could definitely see that, being the future, hopefully. Obviously that.
Definitely. I think we're moving into that direction. It's definitely going to take time, though, to really get there.
Yeah, which hopefully sometime soon, so I can actually play.
Yeah.
I don't gamble at all, but if they have some skill-based games where I feel like I can compete, obviously I'll definitely be in there.
Definitely more appealing.
Exactly. So the other thing which is interesting, esports and arenas. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So again, it's a new thing here in Vegas, and everyone wants to kind of jump on board and get the flavor of the week. It's what's in style. So everyone's talking about it. Everyone wants to get a piece of it. MGM, so their Luxor Casino used to have a nightclub on the top floor called LAX. They closed the nightclub about a year ago, and their plan is to make an esports arena up there.
Okay.
Downtown Las Vegas is also planning an esports arena. So we're definitely kind of going after that niche. And of course, there's a lot of potential there. Las Vegas attracts so many different conferences and different events every year for almost anything. We just had the rodeo in town last weekend. So
that's pretty sick. I've never been to one. I have to
Yeah,
go.
they're interesting people watching for sure.
I'm sure it's a different crowd. Definitely a different crowd.
Very, very. So we have a little bit of everything for everyone. So I think that there's a lot of potential in. I mean, esports are getting so popular. There's a reality show about Dota. I didn't even know what Dota was.
I didn't even know there was a reality show about Dota.
There's a reality TV show about Dota, and I thought that was insane. And if it's on TV, then it's pretty much mainstream.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's definitely innovation around catering to the gaming world and serious gamers. And I was listening to a podcast a few weeks ago, and they were talking about maybe betting on these esports. And I mean, it wouldn't make or break a casino because sports betting, it would fall under the same category as sports betting, and that only makes up like 3 to 5% of a casino's total gaming revenue.
Okay.
So, but it'd be an awesome amenity, when these huge tournaments happen. You can go, even if you're not participating, you can go down to Vegas, place your bets with your buddies, and make a weekend out of it. So it's definitely there's a lot of charm to it. So a few companies on the Strip are really taking it seriously and really researching it and putting in a lot of money to make things happen. But I think we're moving in the right direction, and it's becoming real fast.
Yeah, which it's moving fast, like you said. There's actually I had him on my show, and I'm not too sure you may have known him or know him, sorry, because everybody knows this guy, Stephen A. Crystal. I don't know if that rings a bell. Yeah, he's a big time guy out there in Las Vegas. This guy talks to everybody and anybody. He has one of the best approaches. He actually was one of my mentors, and I only do this just in case he watches, which he usually does. He was one of my mentors before I went live with this show, and I know he's out in Vegas, and I know he's actually trying to bring in an esports arena out there. I know he's a main shareholder with UMG Gaming right now, which is a big gaming company, obviously, or organization, whatever you want to consider them. And I know he's really big about getting arenas out there, whether it's within the casino or whether it's outside. But I think that would be really, really cool, and that's something that I look forward to eventually starting in Vegas. Obviously, I feel like Vegas is always the start with something like that. But maybe little by little start to pick up. Maybe we get something out here in the tri-state, whether it's New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, whatever it is.
Yeah, and even in Atlantic City, one of the biggest issues with their gaming revenue would be the seasonality. So in the summertime, everyone wants to be down the shore, versus in the winter, nobody's going down the shore. So the same room on a Saturday night in the summer that goes for $400 is going for $30 on a weekday in the winter. So I think catering to that niche market, to the gamers, could help their business. It brings in food and beverage because you guys are going to get hungry. You're going to want to eat. You're going to want to drink. You guys are going to sleep somewhere. Heads in beds.
Yep.
Fill their hotel rooms. You're going to sit down at a table, play $50 in blackjack with your buddies before you go up to your room to go to sleep. Like, go to the nightclubs. There's so many things that if you bring them, they will. If you take what's that saying? Take the horse to the water and it'll drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly how it is. So if you have something to draw them, it'll have a lot of benefit to it. So, and I think that could definitely help AC.
Absolutely, that's something definitely AC. I know is looking into. We were sponsored, obviously, me and Junior Ambrose. We were sponsored by Resorts Casino. Shout out to that whole staff, and they were really big about it. They're kind of waiting out, kind of feeling out the market in regards to millennials. But that's something they were constantly talking to Rob and myself about. What can they do to bring them out? What interests them? Pretty much what you said is pretty much what we said. You kind of got to put everything out there for them to bring them in. lower the cost of rooms, and just start building up and building up and building it up, because everybody is going to slowly know about esports. I kind of am a big advocate about that, even at my job. A lot of my coworkers watch my show. Probably like at least 5 to 10 are watching right now. And, I try to tell everybody about esports, and esports is blowing up. One of my coworkers, Sergio, which I know he's watching, he's always constantly sending me articles, and it'd be something that interests you. A lot of them are in Las Vegas, but articles about online tournaments, mobile gaming tournaments, for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, and that's just the beginning. Obviously it could double, it could triple, it could, big sponsors come in, which
crazy amounts of money. Yeah,
absolutely, and I obviously see that. I don't know how long, maybe a couple of years, 5 to 10 years. But that goes along with, I guess, the future of casinos and, the marketing offers, promotions, and loyalty programs. Tell us a little bit about that, because you're obviously the expert.
Yep. So that's kind of my niche at work. So right now, most casino loyalty programs are built around, you go into the casino, you put your card into a machine if you're playing slots or video poker, or you hand it to the pit and they put in your ratings. So ratings are the time that you play and your average bet. So you accumulate points through that play. And then you can also, some programs, you can accumulate points through food and beverage purchases or different hotel things. So that's how you currently accumulate points, and you can use it on different things. You can use your points on free play, so you can cash them in and get some money to play with. You can use them for different comps, whether it's a room comp, food and beverage comps, so you can get different complimentary things. And right now, someone my age, so millennials don't have the disposable income that a baby boomer has. Baby boomer has lived their life. They've retired, most of them. Their kids are no longer living with them. So they have that, a little extra income versus someone younger who is just starting out and, paying the bills and trying to get by. So the younger generation is much more cautious on how they're spending their money. So they'd rather spend their money on an experience versus throwing it away in a slot machine.
Absolutely. Yeah, quote unquote.
So I think a lot of it, so when we were talking about the video game style, video game style gaming and different skill-based gaming. So New Jersey, their legislation right now for skill-based gaming because marketing also is very highly regulated. So everything we market, all of our offers, they have to be in compliance with whatever jurisdiction we're in. So New Jersey, when they rolled out skill-based gaming, there's some leeway in there to give power-ups and different things like that. So you're not just getting slot dollars or anything. So there's a lot of room for innovation on what kind of offers can kind of go along with the new style of gaming. So that's definitely really exciting, and it's definitely a draw because millennials also have a problem with loyalty and picking a brand, and we have hipsters that don't want anything too mainstream, and then so it's a huge area of opportunity because you're not going to get these players that are playing and getting thousands of points to move up in tier. I'm a 7-star or a Pearl or whatever, an Onyx, whatever different program might have. It doesn't matter to a millennial what tier you are. It matters more what am I getting out of it? So if I can get something towards a game that I like, like that I can actually sit and play and enjoy versus just a slot machine, I think that's definitely super appealing. So a lot of room for innovation. And again, a lot of it's going to take some time on Capitol Hill, but as Capitol Hill gets younger, I think there's going to be a lot more innovation in gambling laws, even with sports betting and skill-based. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, I think you pretty much hit most of it in regards to casino, the esports world. I know you said the marketing, the promotions that are out there, millennials, and how difficult of a group I guess we can be considered, which, eventually will be the group to be catered to, which is kind of the case as it is already.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I have for you, Gina.
Awesome.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on here and speaking.
It's a lot of fun.
I appreciate it. And thank you. And you come highly recommended for Bob Ambrose. He actually
Thank you, immortal professor.
He actually sent me an email when he found out you were going to be on the show. And fun fact, I didn't know that you had any relation to him whatsoever.
Oh, yeah. He was out here with Immortal Spawn, and I saw them during G2E in September or October. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, got to spend some time with them. They're great guys. And
they're like family to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a stepdad and my brother. Or stepbrother. Yeah. So definitely. They're great guys. But yes, thank you, Gina.
Thank you.
If I ever need anything marketing wise at the casino world, I know who to contact now.
I'm your girl.
All right.
Awesome.
So I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
You have a good night.
You too.
Take care. All right, guys, so that was Gina. Gina Vork. Guys, make sure you follow her on Twitter at Gina Vork. Obviously, really easy, very simple, straightforward. That's the way you brand yourself. That's the way you market yourself. You don't want to get too crazy. You want to be simple, just like it is with logos. You want to keep it as simple as possible. So I like her very professional Twitter name. She had a lot to say about the marketing, the promotion, the esports industry, and what's going on really in the background, and how we're going to be seeing esports grow more and more in the casino world, whether it's through esports arenas, whether it's through slot machines, that become skill-based. There's so many possibilities, and that's kind of why I like to bring on guests from the casino world. So I want to give a big shout out to Gina for coming on here tonight, and I also want to give another shout out to Bob Ambrose, aka Immortal Professor, the dad of Immortal Spawn himself, the legendary professor. And I want to thank both of them. Obviously, she comes highly recommended and was really, really cool and down to earth. And I really liked, where this industry is going. And I would love to do work with Atlantic City. Obviously, I'm a native to New Jersey. So you guys know if it's ever anything Atlantic City related, anybody that watches this, I'm your guy. I definitely want to be a part of it. And I know that's going to be big soon enough. Obviously, me being a millennial, I know that. And I think everybody kind of knows that at this point, that it's kind of just going to grow bigger and bigger, especially with our kind of, this kind of industry. Sorry. But without further ado, guys, I'm going to bring on my next guest. I did have her waiting because we kind of went for longer than I expected with Gina, which is perfectly fine. There was a lot of information to go over. So I'm going to bring on Arwina. She is with Esports Tickets. Like I said, to me, it's kind of like a StubHub related program where they sell tickets for esports events, whether it's Dota, CSGO, all the big ones, you name it. I could go through a whole list. That's kind of what they do, but it's not necessarily what they do. That's kind of my assumption, and that's why I love to have the guests come on here and talk about what they do and talk about what their company does. So let me go ahead and bring her on here. I know I had her waiting for a little bit, like I said. That's not it. All right, pull that back up. Let me share the screen. I don't want to be too much on the screen. I want you guys getting sick of looking at me. Hello?
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Sorry for keep you waiting. Like I said, I had my guest on here longer than expected. But Arwina, I appreciate you being on here tonight. And thank you for being here. Now, Arwina, I know you work with Esports Tickets. I kind of gave my general assumption of what you do and what Esports Tickets does. But to start it off, give us a little bit about yourself, a little bit of an introduction.
Yeah, so sorry if there's any background noise. It's about 10 p.m. right now at the office, so cleaning and all that stuff. So sorry for that. So my name's Arwina Mogul, and I'm the founder of Esports Tickets. A little bit about me and my esports career kind of branches out to about 5 years now. I've been organizing events and also planning and growing communities. Most recently, I was overseas to open the world's first esports theme park. And then after that project, I founded Esports Tickets. And Esports Tickets is the Eventbrite for gamers, but we kind of go beyond that. I know you mentioned on the show that it's like StubHub. Yes, there's some similarities to StubHub, Ticketmaster, Eventbrite, and all that stuff. But we cater to gamers, so that means there's a lot of gamified features on the platform. So, for example, on the platform, if you want to search for games and events for those games, you can search for Dota 2 or Gears of War or any type of events that you're looking forward to, like a meetup with other gamers, tournaments, live stream parties, and all that stuff. So that's kind of like a little bit like a short spiel about me and Esports Tickets.
Very cool. And you had that all very well lined up with all that information. So I like the idea that it's an Eventbrite for esports. It's kind of like your StubHub, your Ticketmaster, your general, I guess, website you go to for anything esports related, which again, that's something that is one, already needed, and two, will only get bigger, especially with the events that are going on, nationally. I'm assuming you do also international events as well with esports tickets?
Yeah, so it's actually open to everyone. The currency is US dollars. North America is our main target focus, but we have events all over the world. So one of the events that I actually kind of want to do a shameless promotion on is like there's a training camp in Sweden for Dota 2. So you can go buy a ticket for this training camp and spend a week in Sweden being with pro Dota 2 players, jiving with other Dota 2 players, and kind of fusing your love for the game, the outdoors, and like there's no curfew, so you could game all day and game all night and do whatever you want. But I mean, there's obviously a structure to the training camp, and you can find that on our platform.
Okay, no, that's pretty interesting. That definitely, any plug you want to put in, that's pretty cool though. Obviously most people probably wouldn't know about that, but if they go to your website, they'll be able to pull that up and kind of read about it. I'm assuming you probably go into detail in regards to the ticket sales or promotions that you have. I guess you would explain a little bit about that for me.
What do you mean, like details, like in terms of the type of events that we have?
Correct.
Or the tickets? Okay.
Both.
Well, there are so many different types of events, but the most popular would be meetups. So gamers gathering together, and there's a community leader that would organize that specific event. And then we have tournaments, online and offline. So this is another unique value proposition that exists on a platform versus a StubHub or Eventbrite. So our events are online as well. So this means, for example, I used to play, I still play games, of course.
Of course, you have to if you're in the esports ticket world.
Yes, but like when you want to find another team to play against or a tournament to participate in, there's no centralized platform for that. You can go to the LOLpedia, Dota 2pedia, StarCraft, Team Liquid, and all that stuff. But there's no centralized like event directory that you can find. So we cater to those users as well. So it's really like honestly a mixed bag of different types of online and offline events with free, paid, or donation type of tickets. So there's 3 different tickets on the website. So you can have free tickets, and this usually caters to people who want to gauge interest for their event without having to sell it, or give away passes or something like that. We have donation type of events. So if you're trying to put together an event to raise funds, like for example, we just finished November. So for Movember, if you had a Movember gaming event, You can publish an event, and then you can say, hey, all the donations or all the tickets for this specific one will go to Movember. And then there's obviously the typical paid ticket where you can charge people for entry fee for a tournament or a viewing event, a party, or a pub stop, whatever.
Okay. So that, I mean, you do a lot with that. Obviously, like I said before you got in here, I did not know much about it, and I also like that just because then it sparks certain questions and certain interest of mine in regards to what you do. Now, I, am a pro Gears of War player. I've been at it for probably 12 years now, which is insane. What can you do to benefit the Coalition, which is the company that made Gears of War 4 and Gears of War? What would the benefit of working with esports tickets do for them?
Like, for example, the game title itself.
Yes, correct.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah, like I'm familiar with the Coalition and Gears of War. So one of the things that esports tickets can do for publishers, and we're already actively speaking with publishers as well. So we can't really kind of squeeze ourselves in to be the ticket master for them. So I'm sure you've heard of League Worlds League Worlds tournaments.
Yes.
And go to the international, of course. And usually they would sell out stadiums. So the ACC, Staples, and all that stuff. So right now it's a dream to be a ticketing partner for them. But it's kind of like a very hard transition over to that because Ticketmaster would have exclusive contracts with the venues themselves. So you won't really see us in the near future to be a part of that. But if you have viewing events for these major tournaments, we can be a part of that. So we can be the ticketing partner for Microsoft. To have like organizers specific to different cities put together events for Gears of War, and they can buy tickets through the platform that way. It's actually free to use for organizers, and we the team behind esports tickets are event organizers as well. So on top of kind of building a tech that caters to organizers, we also provide, like advice and planning, helping them with the logistics sometimes with the events that they publish on our website.
Okay, so that kind of broke it down, which is obviously something good for me. Now, what do you see long-term as a goal, a long-term goal with esports tickets? Personal, it could be personal, it could be as a whole, as a company, but what would be one of the long-term goals for you guys?
Yeah, so the long-term goal would be we want to be the household name for gaming and esports events. So I'm sure when you were a child, you had signed up for sports lessons or music lessons or language lessons like
Yes.
Kumon or piano lessons and all that stuff. So we want to cater to the general public. We want parents to know about our platform. So if their high school kid wants to learn more about Gears of War and want to be better at it, then they will go into the esports tickets platform, and they would look for workshops or classes or programs that cater to that specific game title. So that we want to be there in that scenario where we would be kind of like the Britney Spears for esports and gaming events. I
like it.
Analogy.
No, I love it. Britney Spears. That was great. I'm glad you said that. That made that very entertaining for me. Now, what is something that you're currently working on? Any projects currently, or anything that we could know about, or something we may not know about? Anything interesting that you have currently in the works?
Well, esports tickets is kind of like my baby right now. I'm working on it full time. I actually used to be a social worker for the government.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, so that's a 360 turn to kind of start esports tickets. But yeah, no, esports-tickets.com. Organizers, we love them. We want to work with you guys. If anyone's watching right now, we also have a partner program. so similar to a Twitch partner, a Discord partner, we have organizers, like signing up, and then if they seem to be an active organizer who's genuine about what they do, and because a lot of the organizers work on this as a passion project, we want to help them build a customer base so that they can, like actually make their businesses profitable should they want to go that route. So we help through the partner program where we kind of pull together all of our resources. So for example, if I needed esports jerseys made, I would be able to touch upon esports jerseys like connections through esports tickets, so that we can have a jersey made at a very reasonable price that wouldn't be available to the general public. So something like that. So we want to help organizers with event related type of tools and resources.
Okay. I think that's all I have for you. I know it's a late night for you. I know you said you're still at the office. And I thank you.
I'm the only one here now, so.
That's dedication though, okay? For anybody that's watching this, she's dedicated, okay? She's still at work. It's 10 o'clock. I'm home in my chair and you're still there. So that shows a lot about who you are personally. All right.
Yeah.
but I want to thank you for waiting. I obviously kept you waiting probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes over time, and I apologize for that. But it's all for good reasons. But Arwina, before I let you go, was there anything else that you had to say before you left?
Like
anything? Shout outs, talk about yourself, personal, esports, tickets, anything.
Yeah, I mean, good luck, have fun to everyone's watching. I'm a gamer, so I mean, reach out to me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Discord. We have our Discord server, discord.gg/esportstickets, and the official website URL is esports-tickets.com. And I'm definitely always happy to chat about gaming and esports. So reach out.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're always a great pleasure to work with and talk to through LinkedIn and even through email. So guys, if you ever need information for Arwina, you guys could contact me and vice versa, her email, her site, anything like that, I'll give it to you guys. But that's it. I want to let you go. I know you probably have things to do before you leave the office tonight.
Yeah.
But again, thank you for being here and have a good night.
All right, you too. Have a good night. Bye.
Take care. All right, guys, so that was Arwina Esports Tickets. I threw the logo up on the screen for everybody there. Again, check them out on Twitter, Esports Tickets. Very easy. Obviously, you guys are all into esports if you're watching the show right now. Or you're just a fan of myself, and you're here just to watch me talk. I mean, it's kind of something nice to look at, I'm not going to lie. I wake up every morning and I look at myself in the mirror, and I see greatness. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm lying. No, I'm really not. I'm dead serious. But I want to thank all my guests for coming on here tonight. Gina, Arwina, as well as wrapping up the EsportsGears 2K, which I do every week. Just something for you guys to keep up. I know a lot of people don't watch every fight night. They don't watch every 2K. So I do that to kind of get that post-game wrap-up, which is kind of the idea I've been pitching to the big guys over at the Coalition. Whether it'll ever come true, I don't know. Whether... if they see it as valuable or not, doesn't matter. I'm still here. The gold chain is still going to show up. If there's ever an event in Atlantic City, like I say on pretty much every episode, I'll be there. I'm going to be there with the crowd. I'll be there with the family, the friends, getting crazy, loud music, and doing my post-game show. I'll have post-game interviews. I'll do whatever it is I have to. But, guys, next week I'll be back to my normal schedule, Thursday. 12/21, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be talking about the 2K that's going to be happening. Obviously, it's going to be happening this Sunday. They happen every Sunday leading up to the event. The next event is in Mexico City, end of January, like I told you guys earlier. But I think that's it. I think that's it for tonight. Nice, short, and sweet episode, which I always like. I want to thank my two guests, like I already did, Gina and Arwina, for coming on here. Arwina for still being at work. It's 10 o'clock, and she picks up the phone and does a little Skype chat. That's what I like. Those are the people I respect. Those are people with character and personality. Came on here and gave them their all. Gina, super awesome girl. She's over in Las Vegas. She's living it up in the nice warm weather, whereas we're over here in the cold in the East Coast. And I asked her a question. Do you miss Philadelphia? She said, I miss certain things, but I don't miss the weather. Damn, that hurts. But it's okay. It's fine. Us East Coast people are tough, especially us New Jersey people. We have all the seasons, and right now it's cold. But that's besides the fact. That's not esports related. I'm just talking because that's what I do. You know, I'm Cuban. I like to talk a lot. If I haven't made that clear, you obviously aren't watching the right show. But again, thank you all for watching. It's not over yet, but I like to give my farewell. I want to thank everybody that watches, friends, family, Bob Ambrose, Immortal Spawn, Sergio, you guys name it. You guys are all in here tonight. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love. I am going to be getting a green screen. I'm going to be having a crazy setup, so you guys won't be able to see this whole background. You'll just be able to see me. I know, you guys can't wait. But that's it for me tonight. And before I go, I always do my quick wrap-up. Or should I say my dance-off? I'm not too sure. But... oh yeah, now el party llegó. I like to bring it down a notch and then bring it up. Thank you, Tio Cubano. Shout out to Sergio for watching. One of the biggest supporters here, Tio Cubano. That's Cubano Senior for everybody that doesn't know. Shout out to him. Very informative show. You're absolutely right. We are going to get more and more guests each and every week. That's a fact. We don't stop here. We just keep going. But now it's time to unwind. Slow it down. Put the love song on. This is kind of a love song or whatever. I don't really pay attention to the lyrics. But I'm just wrapping up the show. You know, I don't like to just leave. I'm not that kind of guy. Set you guys up, get you guys going, and then just leave. That's not what I do. Here it comes. And that's what makes me different. You gotta be different. I don't like the guys who are the same old. They live their life every day, each and every day, doing the same thing all the time. It's all about getting crazy. Here it goes. Llegó el party. That's gonna be me at AC. Suénalo, suénalo. Yo, one more button's gotta come out. The gold chain's out. Diablo! Woo! Alright guys, well that's it for me tonight. Again, thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next Thursday, 12/21, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You won't want to miss it. You won't want to miss the gold chain. But without further ado, I love you all. I'll see you next week. Have a good night. Stay safe. And make sure you follow me on Twitter, @NGabano. Big shout out to you all. Sergio, thank you for being here. Thank you for waiting for it. You put it in the chat, wait for it, and it dropped. Later, guys. Have a good night. Take care.